Welcome everyone who is joining us for another interview with an amazing guest. And today we're going to talk about creative work in all its forms. And we're going to talk about how important it is to be creative and to keep creating, producing whatever is on your mind, to experiment and make bold decisions. And of course, I have someone with me who is going to talk about this. And he is a friend of mine and a professional artist who knows exactly what it takes to put his work out there. And I know him quite well now, he's got a lot of bold ideas in his head that he's not sure about. So we're going to talk about this very thin border when it comes to being comfortable with the stuff you publish and leaning into the discomfort. But Charles, I'm not going to introduce you. You're going to introduce yourself. And what we're also going to do, we're going to showcase some pieces of your work, because I know you're a piece of work by yourself, but we need people to see, and we need to show what you are capable of. And I would like to start with giving some space to introduce yourself. Tell us what actually brought you to creative work. What made you become an artist? Because for me, someone who draws or create art for a living is still kind of odd animal, and you may be maybe one of the very few people who I know do that. So tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Yeah, it's always a question that finds a different answer as we think about that through life. Why we made the choices we made, or do we have these lifelong interests? So I've been drawing and I've been drawn to art since childhood. So I was drawing a lot when I was a kid, and I was pretty much drawing, wild kids drawings, and a lot of monsters, and sometimes very disturbing stuff. And at school, I was getting in trouble because I was drawing weird things, and people try to understand where all of that comes from. And I've always been interested in exploring creativity and all that stuff. So as time went by, I decided, I guess, to go into that professionally and to really go deep into a practice and to learn to draw really well, to be able to render my vision, more freely than what comes instinctively when you're just trying out when you're a child. So it started in, the more serious practice started in my 20s, and now I'm near my 40s and I'm still in it. So I guess the choice is just being continuously made. Does that answer your question? Do you have a direction that you would want, an angle that you would want me to tackle here?
Absolutely. So I know there's a bunch of kids who are in art classes at school when they're little, and sometimes there's some talent in there. When I was like 7, my teacher was impressed, but of course, like 99.9% of us never developed the talent. So I didn't know about you that you actually started seriously fairly late, I'd say. So tell me a little bit, and tell to whoever is watching, what does it take to develop this this skill? How long does it take? And this is a loaded question. How long does it take before you look at your own work and you think it's actually any good?
Oh man. It depends on the people, different level of the mysterious realm of talent that is not sure exactly what I think about that, but there is definitely something there. People learn faster than others, but there is no way around the long training for, I mean, for specifically, to draw from imagination or draw from observation. There is this technical skill like playing guitar or music that you have to go through. And so when that's what you want, and I'm saying this because in contemporary art or other types of artistic practices, the technical training is not necessarily that important, and there is more training on writing and thinking about art. And but for drawing, it might look like the rumor that 10,000 hours of practice to master anything, and I think it looks like that. In my early 20s, when I figured that this is really something that I wanted to get good at, not in my small pond, but in the larger ocean. I discovered to my dismay that it would take longer than I thought, and I don't know, maybe now I am getting to a place, and it's been almost, I would say, 20 years of practice, but I wanted something very precise, and there was no specific way to get there, so that makes it even harder. But now I'm getting to a place where I can do what I want. Like, I know how to work to make the things that I want to do. And so I would say that it took me 20 years, but it's a process. So there was a satisfaction along the way and getting better and better and better. It is a
Very
long
good.
time.
No, I love what you say, because as you know, I'm also struggling to do somewhat a creative work, which is what we are trying to do right now. And I think the sweet spot for me was when you said, yeah, this is when I felt I'm kind of mastering. I'm able to draw what I want. It looks how I want. So tell me about how it is for you with the work you're creating. Is it what is the blocker that you feel now? What is the struggle? I think that the struggle at first is technical, as you said. For me, when I was trying to kind of figure out how to switch on camera, that was difficult. That was the technical struggle. But you're beyond that. Then becomes the struggle of, okay, I can switch on camera or I can draw a shape, but is it good enough to actually to show it to anybody? And the next step is, are people gonna like it? Are they gonna say, right? How this balance shifted for you over the years?
Yeah, it's yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about this, like how this shifting balance that creates a problem. The problem is always there, of the content and the right intention, and what is going to be shown, and is it going to work? Is it going to resonate? That's always on your mind. But when you have the technical mountain to climb, you can always focus on that and just say, okay, I have to get better. I have to get better. And maybe that's why I spend so much time, saying I have to practice this stuff, for years, because there is a simplicity to the battle. And now I have no excuse that there is always more to learn, and it's infinite, like any interesting thing I find. But now I have no excuse to tackle this very large, maybe much larger problem, which is very interesting also, of the problem of resonance, of what exactly are you trying to do here, and what is and then you have to set yourself what is the criteria for success.
No, I feel you. I mean, we are getting a little ahead. That was a taste of what we want to tackle, because of course now what we're gonna do, we're gonna show some of your stuff, because till now people had to take our word for it that you are good at drawing, but you definitely are. Let's go through some of your work that I, a layman, can understand and appreciate. And then we're gonna go to the difficult stuff, and the difficult stuff, I think, is exactly this struggle. How do you exist and put stuff out there and experiment in the world when there is access to high quality art, high quality creation in all areas, everywhere? But there's time for that. Charles, let's just bath in your success of your earlier days. I'm gonna share the screen so people can see your website, and maybe you can talk us through that. Of course, I'll put a link in here so people can visit it yourself. But can you give us a tour, maybe starting with the sequential art that I have here, and tell us what are these creations and what is the origin story?
What is what creation and origin?
So what I would say, so I see there are two stories that you created, and one of them is okay, I'm gonna butcher it.
There is an English version under. So snail.
Okay, I was gonna brag with my horrible French, but I won't. So let's talk. Let's say Snail City. Snail City.
Sorry, I didn't want to stop you there.
I'm totally doing the other one because that's the one with birds. But let's talk about this one first. So tell us a little bit about how this came to life.
Yes, how this came to life. Okay. There is this problem, the problem of or polarity, of literal clarity and abstraction that I want to, I try to play with to see the right balance for what I'm trying to do. And this is it's a experimental comic book in a way, which is trying to take the best of both worlds of framed art where you have a single image, and mixing it with the power of sequential art and comic books where you have these sequential sequential artwork that divides art into time. So it's more towards cinema, and but what I was trying to do was like this exploded painting in a to show something without having to make a too definite statement, because a statement is a different thing than an artistic statement. So it's like you can try to it could have been a philosophical essay if that was my skill, but I was trying to communicate something that's too vast to state simply, and that was the best way I could find to do that.
Okay, Charles, I hope you're ready for me to asking some stupid questions that people who don't know about art ask. So, the question my grandma would ask, so how long does it take to create something like this? How does the creative process actually look like for you? Do you sit for a day doing one panel of this? Or does that mean that you create sketches and then you kind of trace it? I have no idea.
Yeah. We have many ways to tackle such a problem, and I put myself that was a big challenge. I had no idea how to go about making this piece, and I wanted to make it all by hand in a technique that I didn't know anything about yet. So I had to learn to draw with a crow quill. And it's something that I did it a few times at school, but it's not something that I knew well enough to make the type of drawing that I said. So I made this first drawing that was quite realistic, pretty much in the way of this final piece, and that was the star that I was following. And I had this idea, and I had to create this imaginary world without references or people to draw from. I wanted to make it all from imagination in a way to learn how to do that, to really be able to precisely sculpt a realistic world without having to rely on a set or on an actual place. And so then from A to B, I had no idea how to get there. And so this one took a very long time, and now I would do it much faster because I did that one. But it took on and off. I worked on it for about a year. Doing the research, a lot of sketches, designing everything, and also the final version. When I got to, I knew exactly how to do it, but then I figured, because these are big. Oh, I could show. Do you have a second? I could get a page to show a finished page.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's do that.
I'll be right back.
So, looking at this is something I can't even imagine how to create. But what I like here, and that's one of the motives I wanted to talk about here with Charles, is how easy it is to look at our older work and feel very certain and very confident about how it was created. And we never have this level of certainty, this level of confidence when it comes to looking forward, when it comes to looking to our next creation, our next step. And this is what creates the struggle of creation in any field. With visual art, we can see it clearly, but of course, this goes to any work you are putting yourself into. Charles, you're back. Let me give you, yes, this deserves all the space.
Yeah, I can get further back. So this is a human head to see the scale. So that was part of the challenge that I was giving myself, since I was not making. I didn't want to make. It was more a piece of artwork than a comic book. So it's more. It's really. I wanted to be this object that can be framed and that you can walk towards and see the texture of the ink on the paper. And for myself, I find that you have a deeper experience than when you're flipping through pages and just wondering what's going to happen. So the intention is to really have something in front of which you slow down and get the feeling of a place and of a world that is like a different epoch. So so making these final, it's 3 big pages like this. So it was a kind of like performance art, because you can't mess up because everything shows. You can't erase. You can't, if you want to start over, you really, it takes a long time, and so you can't start over. So I made these practice pages. I practiced the performance before, so I have another version that is rougher, but that is the thing was all there. So yeah.
Very much. It's like life, isn't it? I mean, you can't go back, you can't erase. You have to start a new page.
Yeah. That's right.
Charles, while you were kind of fishing the artwork, I shared with our view. I actually noticed in her voice, and I realized that I feel the same. How much more secure, how much more confident you are when you talk about your past creations. When we are in the process of creating it, it's like, oh my God, how do I do that? I have no clue. But looking back, it all feels kind of, yeah, we already know how this was done. It always feels easier in a retrospect. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I notice it as you say it. I never thought of it that way. It's awesome. Yeah, it feels mastered when it's done, and it's a completely different relationship than when you're in the middle of it.
Got it. So let's go to another one, because this I have to say I was captivated by this even more, and I can't really say why. But Charles, you're not taking this away from me. I was practicing Le Chant des Oiseaux. Huh? Okay, that's my best. But let's switch to English in here and showcase what it is. So can you tell us a little bit about this one? How is it different from the Snail City? I see you use colors, but that's all I can say about it. Hopefully you're going to tell us more.
Okay. Yes, color. It's not a small thing to have used it in here. I mostly worked in black and white all my life, because the problem of the puzzle of drawing is so complex that I just took this variable. I took it out of the equation, because it's already so vast and hard that color is just. But so here was this challenge, also technical, to make this progression of color. It was all made by hand, so the challenge with my lack of experience with, I had to learn to work with watercolor while making this project, and why. But that's more technical than anything. I guess it would be interesting to say how different it is from the other one. Also, in the world of ideas, and this one was okay. What was I trying to do? Yeah, this was around the mood of a place, and it started with an idea that was a certain way, and as I was making it changed. and it was a kind of process of reconciliation with certain ideas, and that I don't know for you how it works, but you're more, you know, the documentary and interview, so I don't know how much you change while you do the research and the process of making the thing, but there I really, in Snail City too, I changed a lot by doing it. So it was another process of reconciliation, but this was just simplifying, you know, having this human character, you know, with the gas mask and the whole, the symbolic impact of gas masks. I always find that are a very strong symbol of you know, a catastrophe or something that happened. And so to have this character in a the most bare situation possible, you have and that's why the long sequence with the mushrooms and all, it's just this bare well, it's not vegetation, but kind of, you know, mushrooms. It's alive things that so you have mushrooms, it burns, that birds that pass by, one character that meets another at the end, and a dog, but you have just a bare minimum of life. And what I was doing was to just show it as not as something, as something to solve. It was more like to show the beauty that comes out of even the driest places. And, you know, you can look at a piece of rock and see this beauty that emerges from it. So that's what the story was really all about. It's like it's or in other words, it's as if we looking at this character moving about in that world. It's the same thing as looking at a, you know, a flower growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. It's just this thing like, wow, it's growing there, and it's kind of amazing that it can be itself, and it's and grand in a way in its state of growing in the crack of a sidewalk. See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I do, and I remember, you know, the speech you gave in the group we are both members of. So I can see it here. Let me ask you this. And as I said, we're going to get deeper or closer to the abyss, if you will. But looking at this, it looks so deliberate. Like every inch of it is exactly where you wanted it. Is that the case, or is it just the eye of the beholder? Is it when you look at it, or when you looked at it before you decided this is good to be put out there, were you happy with it, or did you feel like you're compromising?
Maybe I was you know, ambivalent. I don't know if that's an English word, or you know, a certain ambiguity towards that I had toward this work. So it's pretty much the experience every time I do anything. So I was not sure if I was hitting the right spot, and if what I was trying to do was you know, coming through. And but I was and am very, very happy So I was very happy about being able to, following through with the idea and doing the best I possibly could to follow that vision, with honesty and hard work. So, but I don't know if I hit that spot, and it didn't. This thing is just it just is this artwork. It's something that a few people see, and like it's like this flower on the sidewalk. It's a strange thing to work on these. When you're not like this superstar or whatever. Most people that make art are unknown, and on top of that, to have the few people that see it, to have them really connect with what you're trying to do, that's another whole other challenge. Yeah. What do you think? Is that what you were looking for? Do you have a
Charles, so before we go into that, you're getting famous by the minute. So more people will see that, and this will stay in the records of the history till till the next apocalypse. So and the internet goes down, and then you will draw a new book about it. But let's say this. I love that you are bringing this, because we had multiple conversations about this very challenge when at the moment when you're standing on the edge, when you have just put down the drawing board, in your case literally, in my case figuratively, when you think you're done, you still face this level of uncertainty, how it's going to be received. But as you said, and Charles, you're on the record, you should watch yourself then. Looking back, and that resonates with me because I feel the same about whatever I've ever written or put out there. Looking back, you said that you're happy because you put your best effort, and you did whatever you could with the skills and with the devotion you had at the time. I'm paraphrasing here. So maybe we only feel about our great work in retrospect. I mean, how is it for you? Would you feel joy? When do you feel the joy? Is it when you are in the middle of the process, when you are putting it out there, or way later when you're looking back? What is the most joyful moment for you? I wonder if this is the similar for everyone, or if we struggle with different stages of the creative process.
Yeah, I don't know. And there might be this general trend, and some people are not this or that way, but where for myself it would be the it's hard to choose, but there are moments of exhilaration throughout it, that when you have an idea that sticks, and you say, oh, I'm going to do this. Like it's like as you find an idea that's it tastes right, and so you want to follow that trail. That's very satisfying. And then throughout the whole way through, you have these obstacles, moments where you have no idea how you're going to go on or solve this or that problem or question. And when you find a solution, you have this, wow, it's amazing. Because the closing of the whole thing, when you're done, I don't know for you, but especially when it takes a long time, but when you're done, you can have the satisfaction of, okay, I did my very best, and I think this is right. But it's kind of sad, this moment. You kind of feel, okay. It's like a little death. And I heard at least one other artist, and I don't remember in what context, but a while ago, how they felt that, oh yeah, teacher I had, when you finish making a film or whatever piece of art, and you get this down right after, is maybe like when you're if you take retirement, when a job is done, it is satisfying, but it's kind of sad, and are eager to find the next mission. So I would say the process is the best thing.
Making your way up to the summit.
But the memory of it, like you asking me right now, there is this satisfaction that I'm maybe discovering. Like you're asking me how it came about, and I can feel a connection that you have with the work. I can't know the nature of the connection, but seeing that you're connecting, and you being curious and asking about it, I'm getting a very definite satisfaction from that. So satisfaction all around, all over the place.
Cool. But I think this is very similar to how I feel. I don't always know, but I don't have your skill in any area. But I wonder. Last thing before we move on, looking at this. This is a story, and I'm wondering if you have the story. If you let me try to phrase it smartly. So, do you paint or draw your work in your head first, and only then you have to kind of spit it on the paper? Is it complete in your mind? Do you envision it, and then you have to go through the steps of actually materializing it, or does it emerge from the chaos as you work through that?
It emerges, and it depends on like different drafts. People will have a different process. Some people will just visualize the whole thing until it's crystalline in their heads, and then they kind of do they draw from observation, as if they were drawing what they see with their eyes. They draw what they have in their minds. For myself, it's this. It's hard for me to understand exactly how it works, but it's very. It's like there are words and shapes, and it's very abstract, but I draw as would someone do maybe a more automatic writing, that type of so I kind of feel shapes, and there are these layers of decisions that are taken, and it's like I'm visualizing outside of my head. So it's active visualization on paper, and it's like a construction site. They say, oh no, put this here. Oh no, this is wrong, and you try a bunch of things. So it's a very chaotic, I guess. Yeah.
I wonder, and now I have to ask, because that makes me think: is it an organizing principle of your thinking? So if you, I don't know, if you're planning a groceries, or if you doing analytical work in other area? Do you just draw? Do you use diagrams, or is it completely separate universe for you when you are drawing?
I don't know. A bit of both. I say that a lot. A bit of both. It is very distinct because making an image is I don't know why it's so intense, but there is this it's like there is a particular flavor of energy from drawing, and when you're low energy and you can't draw, it's just and it doesn't work. So it's driven in a certain way that is not necessarily there otherwise. But why I said it's a bit of both. At the same time, I'm noticing how my mind has a certain shape. It takes shapes like anyone's, but I think different people will have a different way of. It's a different type of landscape or ecosystem of people are very, very word based or not at all. For myself, it's talking and images and other stuff that I can't even perceive, and that's all over it's there when I do the grocery list or whatever. I think it's there all the time.
So I'm just now wondering if my mind takes any shape, or it's shapeless. I'm thinking, I love this one. This is cool. So I see that there might be time to go into something more more complex, more, let's say, heavy. So we talked about your, as you have it in your website, your sequential art work. Is that a technical term, or is it something that you created for your own needs? Sequential art.
Sequential art. It's I don't know if he coined the word, but it's from Will Eisner.
Okay.
The famous American comic book artist, a real pioneer in the American comic tradition, and I studied his. He taught how to make comics, and I studied his books.
So I'm gonna pretend I know him, so I'm gonna do
That's. Oh no, I didn't. That's one of his books. So graphic storytelling, visual narrative, and I didn't take the right one. There are three. There is another that's called I don't know. Is it here? Come on, sequential art. Aha! I am not lying. Sequential art. So this, and he talks about sequential art and the history of how from Mesopotamia. I think it was there maybe before writing and certainly at the origin of it, to have images in sequence to tell a story, and so it's this pretty universal human thing. So that's why I got very interested in the power of it and going more into trying to steer it more towards fine arts, to try to balance it in another way than what I saw elsewhere, to see how that would go, how specific could I be with fine arts and be more idea oriented, and that's what these two projects were doing. It was an experiment of some sort.
Well, this is what we're doing here is an experiment of some sort, Charles, and I think we're doing good. At least you are. So
I always appreciate the self-deprecating.
I just froze with a smile on my face for a minute, so I had to kind of refresh the pixels. Not pretty good. In any case, we have some people with us, so I also wanna say for whoever is watching, this is Charles Alexandre Gauthier, and I'm butchering the pronunciation, I'm sure. But what's important here is not how it's properly pronounced, although that's interesting. What's important is that he is an accomplished artist, and we are talking through his art and also through the creative process itself. Because creative process is something that is, I think, essential for every one of us, regardless the industry, regardless the field of work. So if you have any questions to Charles regarding the way he creates, regarding his work, please put it in comments. We will answer it as we go. And we would like to hear from you. So that's why we are streaming. Not just because we are two narcissists who are trying to kind of be famous through our work, right, Charles?
No link at all.
No way. Yeah. Okay. So moving on, I think we should go to something, as you said, more experimental, I guess, something more tricky. And of course, we were on YouTube, so I was looking at it. I said some of your work would need some parental guidance, but let's move to that. You created an interesting proposition, especially now during the COVID lockdown. You created this kind of virtual exposition. So is that a place where you would like to actually guide us now? Is that something you would like to talk about? What was your thinking behind that? And what could we get from you today? Could we get a little tour?
I was not ready for this.
So, Charles,
okay.
Maybe we have an escape route. I'm looking at the comments, and you can see them as well. We have a question from Robert here, who you know very well. How was the universe created? Maybe you have a creative answer for that. So I'll let you pick the easier question. Would you rather talk about how was the universe created and weasel yourself out of the exhibition, or do we go to Cosmos?
Let's go to Cosmos.
Sorry, Robrecht. We're gonna get back. We're gonna go back. I'm gonna Google it in the meantime. I think it has something to do with 42, but I'll have to double check. Charles, go for it. So, what is Cosmos about?
But I don't know if how much the Robrecht's question is tongue in cheek, because it looks a lot like what the just talking about what this Cosmos thing is about.
How was the cosmos created? Let's talk about that.
That's in a way, that's why I make images, because what I like about drawing and art is that you can make, well, you can do it with words. I'm doing it all the time. But you can make a definite, ambiguous statement that is...
Definite, ambiguous statement. Okay, you have to tell us more about it.
That is the only way to make... Okay. I think I say something in there about... open wounds, like the ideas or words are open wounds or something, and it's an old idea that I have, that any kind of attempt to at at stating anything leads to potentially an infinite number of questions, or asking for to be more precise or to explain, or you can ask a question, what do you mean by this word when you say it, and then you start defining words inside the definition, and it just any structure, it tends to bleed out or crumble after some time, and it's so it's this almost universal this constant of it's like the you go all the way to the well, this other question, well, you go to the Big Bang, and we look so hard for this answer to the universe, and it doesn't make any kind of satisfying sense, and it's an answer that asks an infinite number of questions. So that's where I swim a lot. That's what I'm interested in, not just in ideas, but visually also, and I tend to so the contemplative state of mind is really something that I dwell into a lot, and I find a lot of satisfaction and joy in there. So that's where all the art comes from. Whether I'm drawing, a squirrel in the woods that's very realistic or cartoony. No, if it's cartoony and cute, there's less contemplation. That's just something else. But what I'm interested in is more the more heavy, weird. There's always a layer of infinity that is very hard to grasp and hard to bear for a lot of people, I think. And that's maybe, I don't know exactly about my intention. Now I'm really thinking out loud, but I think that I would love to help people learn to swim in there and figure out that there's nothing to be afraid of.
I think you're doing exactly that, Charles. So shall we take a dive, swim in the cosmos a little bit?
All right.
Because I like the concept. It's not the usual gallery when you would just see everything, but it's structured very interestingly. So how did you decide on the structure? So rather than actually having everything, in a gallery, you basically make us enter and kind of show us through bit by bit. What was your thinking behind that? What are you trying to create for us here?
Well, I'm trying to slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
To slow us down, and that's there's a lot of depth and wealth. I mean, not money wealth, maybe even money wealth, but there is a deep, this rich world in slowed down perceptions, and you start to see things that you didn't notice were there, and art does that a lot. Like it forces you to pay attention. So it puts a spotlight on something and says, this is important. You are here now to see this. Like you're in an art gallery, and this is why created this virtual, not a simulation, but to simulate the experience of being in a gallery. It's because you have this whatever color or just plain white wall with, you have this painting, look at it. And so it's this moment where you're pointed to, you are invited to give a certain quality of attention to something, and I think we get a lot from that, and that's something that we lose in the internet gallery format or Instagram scrolling, where you just I can't connect with art in that format, so I don't want to show it in that way either, because I don't think that anyone can connect deeply with anything in that format. But I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong, and a lot of people connect in that way. But
I see what you mean as the power of the swipe, right? I can just flick through everything, or Tinderized world, swipe left, swipe right, and just don't take more than 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's like you're eating through a bag of chips, but it's someone's life's work, and you go, and this is so cool, but you have only access to this. Wow, this is cool, but you don't have this relationship that develops with really taking your time with one painting or one sculpture or whatever, and going back, look at it again, if you have it on your wall at home or a reproduction or whatever.
Got it. Well, I think we have the best of both worlds here. So obviously, all of our viewers can actually see the link to the website where they can kind of take a walk in their own pace. But Charles, let's do that. Let's use the chunk of our time we have to slow us down. You just tell us where you want to go, and we're gonna go there. We can spend the time with one of your works. It's up to you how we distribute the time now. Let's take a couple of minutes and take it slow.
I think the one on the bottom right, with the swirling shapes and the three. Okay, so what I did was these 5 rooms, let's say, and this is one of them. So I wanted to give context to these paintings, and so I made these 5 drawings of rooms, and since they're drawings, it takes as long to draw a regular room or to draw this organic sculpture that I did there, and that was to unify the experience and unify the presence of all these different drawings that were made, sometimes in different techniques, and I wasn't sure how to put them together so that they wouldn't be just flipped through like would you do with a portfolio. So that's how that was the idea that I had. Now I look at it. I just finished last Sunday, so now I'm looking at it, and it's pretty new to me too. So I'm happy I did. It's like songbirds, and the other one I look at it. Okay. Honest attempt. So you have these.
Charles, before we go into that, how much happier are you with it now than you were 2 weeks ago, when it was still in the making?
How much more? What, comfortable, or what was?
Oh, you said now you're happy with it. Looking at it, you're happy. Looking back, I can again hear the confidence in your voice a bit. And I know we talked about your work. It's a couple of weeks ago, and I think you may have been working on this very piece, and you were very uncertain about everything. So tell us a little bit about the change, and we discussed, where's the joy? Is it in the making? Is it after it's done? Is it the ascent up to the hilltop when you have this disappointment that you're actually done, or is it now? This is fresh work. When is the fulcrum of the joy and fulfillment for you?
That's interesting to think about. I wouldn't have had if you didn't ask. Well, I don't know. I'm right now. I feel pretty good. So it's I was this drawing. I was yeah. There were a bunch of moments of satisfaction at the beginning. I was making these lines, curvy lines, and I had no idea where this was going. And I made a few decisions, and I thought I didn't have other of the same cardboards to make another one. So it was really a situation of, okay, I have to finish this. If I make a mistake, I'm stuck with it, and I have to figure out a way to solve the problem with what I have. And you even see you have places where ink was dropped and dabbed away, and it's a real thing. And in the end, I just made this organic sculpture that looks exactly. What is this? Oh, alert! This drawing looks.
Are we okay, Charles, or is that?
I don't know. These alert on the cell phone, and as if there was a tornado or something. I hate it.
I wouldn't. I mean, I love some drama on the video, but I wouldn't want you to be kind of destroyed on live broadcast.
The ceiling fell on me. I died right there on your channel. That would be the best thing that ever happened to you. It goes viral. It's good. It's crazy thing happened. Oh yeah. Yeah, organic sculpture.
Right.
This is just the process of making it and the final result. And I'm looking at it now, and it's just, this looks exactly like my childhood dream. Like when I was a kid and wanted to get good at drawing, this looks exactly like something that I wouldn't have even dreamed of being able to do that. And I can hardly believe that it exists, because if I didn't, do this whole process of learning and being and becoming all that stuff, this drawing, nobody else would do it. So it's a very unique kind of what is it? Not an appearance, but I have I'm not finding the right English word, but it's like a, for words it would be an utterance. So to have this drawing happen, it's very unlikely that this thing exists. So I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just giving a high five to that kid who who was kind of lazy and didn't like to work hard on anything. So yeah, this weird organic sculpture that I don't know why I'm so happy when I see these things. I mean, if someone else would have done it, and I would be so happy. It's like, yes, I'm happy that it exists. And it's so strange. How do you feel in front of such a I don't know even what that is.
I think that's exactly how whoever is watching must feel. And well, this is so strange, but those two guys are so happy about it. There must be something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, I owe you the answer. We discussed that a little bit. So I think we shared that I don't know much about art, but I immediately seen that the not in this piece, but in your work, throughout your work, that you would like Giger's art. That I was like, yeah, alien. That all these weird shapes that were in there, and this is something that I recognized in there. This kind of, for me, it's as you said. What was it? The definite ambiguous statement, like managing the chaos in the way that it is harnessed, but it has to be harnessed to be observable. So it's only harnessed to the level to make it visible to the naked eye. If it was less structured, you wouldn't be able to actually debate it. I don't know. It makes sense in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Cause man, it's yeah.
You need to pull it above the surface of, ambiguity, but just right enough. So you can see it's kind of a tip of the iceberg for me. It's like, I know there's more. There's this, it gives me the sense of the body of something, in this case, body of the unknown that's below the surface, but there needs to be at least this tip above, so I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about it, but I have the advantage that I have you to walk us through your mind in this. So, but so do our viewers now. They will always have a chance to go back to this. So I think this desires some and deserve some more guidance in this sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
let's.
I guess. Shall we get into one of them? It could be
Let me
any
see.
one of the three.
Okay. So which one? Which one? Come on, you're the artist.
Okay, the one on the left.
Okay. Okay. Let's do that. So how do I? All right.
There
I
are
can zoom.
buttons under the image.
Okay. 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 Let's see.
I wasn't tech savvy enough to.
No, you were right, but let's see. So we're going to. Okay, this one. Okay, tell us about this. Sorry, I'm going to center it. So we have the
You
chaos in
can
the
click
center.
on it, so if maybe that will be good for if you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 I think that works. And in a way, it says it. It says it all by what it does for me, at least. That when you get behind the habit of repetition of life and seeing things. Oh, this is the second time I see a flower or a tree or whatever, or a person. If you manage to get a glimpse of what it really is, can be any part of reality. If you really look at it and you can see it from an angle where you you have this this you know, for me the word strange is very important. Like it has a lot of depth. The state of seeing something and seeing it as strange, for me it's a state of presence that has a very you know, good quality to it. So
Charles, I
that's
guess you it. Yes, I have some questions, but we have Raphael actually providing a comment. So can you see it? Let me just read it. I think it's so I Raphael says, I'm offended by these images. Trigger warning next time.
yeah.
And I gotta say, we are taking it a little light with Charles, because we both know Raphael. Raphael is our friend, and but it brings us to the to the topic we discussed offline, Charles. Like your desire to create this sense of strangeness, or some sort of discomfort. So can you tell us a little bit more about it, and shall we be offended?
Well, I hope not.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah. That's a, for me, the state of offense would be an unfortunate misunderstanding, but I think that it could happen. Among other things, seeing it as seeing my intent as blasphemous, or you know, that kind of wrong, because it's not, you know, if you do if it's a gratuitous violence, or you're just trying to offend, you know, for throw a feces on a wall, and it's just I want to offend. That's not the kind of offended that I'm afraid to see happening. Just because I'm there is a very strong religious undercurrent to my relationship with life, and I'm afraid of what that could mean to people, to see that, and even subconsciously that it's there, and to have things that are considered, you know, that there are other drawings there that are very raw, or very like I went pretty far there with the, you know, texture of things that we think are dirty or that should be hidden, and I'm looking for the sacred there, and pretty much everywhere, in a way, not in a way, literally. So that, yeah, I think that's what I don't want happening. Like people like oh, like you can't draw the, you know, people have been burned for this throughout the ages, and I don't know what it can do in any epoch. See what I mean? No.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, people are pretty scary in that way. Politics, and you have the clergy coming at you, and
Oh yeah, people are the worst. I agree.
this is when they band together. It's groups that can be. Yeah. So
yeah. Looking at this, I wanted to ask. I'm sorry. Yeah. So let's. I wanted to tell you a little bit like what impressions I have from this. But let me pause on that. We can get to that. I wanted to ask you something else now. I realize this is very ambiguous, intentional, as you said, but then I thought that basically every piece of work is to some extent ambiguous, because however concrete and specific you are with what you're trying to get across, there's always a lot of interpretation that are possible. You put stuff out there, and then it lives its own life in a way. So instead of starting with telling you, hey, this looks like this and this looks to me like that, how much do you see as a creator, not just an artist, as a creator in general, that you need to control and how people feel about the work? To what level of granularity you want to kind of people see what you see? Are you okay with just creating an impression of some sort? Let's say ambiguous impression to quote yourself, and or would you like them to see something very specific in it?
No, I don't want to. No, not specific. no, really. I'm trying to, to try to do this, to be specific with what I'm trying to do is impossible, and it would be a mistake. So you can only go be indirect with certain things, and that's the most, like, I would like to detach completely from what I do to like I don't, I sign under in the margin, but I don't sign in the artwork, because it's not, I don't want to be there. I don't want to interfere with what's there, and that's the what you were asking before. I talked about a bunch of things, but I don't want to, what controversy, the worse it can do, and I'm serious about this. It's just, it's noise, and it won't happen. I mean, I want it to connect. I want to. There is something good there that I want to point to, and controversy would be failure on that part, or offense and all that stuff. It's it would just be a shame. It's like speaking to someone and they misinterpret what you're doing, and they think you're in bad faith. But so yeah, interpretation is great. Like, I want this to be like an ink blot that you look at, and like, what do you see? What happens to you when you're in front of this or whatever you're looking at? I don't know if.
I guess that's what I was after with my question. And looking at the time, we are heading to a close. Of course, if anyone who's watching, if you have questions for us, for Charles, or any comments, any feedback, please provide it in the comments for us. We are keeping an eye on that. What I'd like to follow up with is, Charles, I see kind of a universal principle of any creation in there. Like, you put stuff out there, and then it lives its own life. And I see that with my own kind of humble attempts, not just through this, but through any work I do, even in my day job. How is that going to be perceived? how is that going to reflect on me? Will people understand that? Will they see what I see? And of course, I pay the lip service to the freedom of interpretation. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm speaking about myself here. I'm saying like, yeah, so this is going to land this way, and I want people to do whatever they need so they're inspired. But then everything is open to misrepresentation, misinterpretation. And your work, you mentioned religion, so you can think of Bible or Das Kapital from Karl Marx. It lives its own life now. It's being twisted and turned into ambiguous shapes. No pun intended with your artwork here. And I think at some point you have to let go and just make peace with the fact that you can't be the godfather of your painting. You can't always be lurking from behind the corner to provide explanation of what you meant.
I know. You're right. Very good way to put it. And is it like just like speaking a sentence in public, you have this very problem. So it's always there. This healthy letting go that's always possible, and I think we both strive for in our current endeavors. Yeah,
I actually think everyone does. Everyone does, whether they are aware of it at any moment or not. And you mentioned Instagram. So with all the social networks, I see the value in showing the level of struggle and uncertainty we are all going through, because normally you don't see it. Normally you see the result. Normally you would see the perfect painting and there it is. And there's no backstory. There's no creative struggle. It's just there.
Yeah. Yeah, this perfect painting from this, this great, budding artistic career, that's very public and well known. So you have these examples of success that are very, well wrapped. And and it's not that way for many. The actual mess of it all is the common ground.
I guess so. So I think that's what is interesting in here is, and this is just an observation I wanted to offer to you here after what we've been through. So you say that's the ambiguity and kind of chaos that we can kind of see through your creations, and you would allow the audience to see whatever they want to see in it. Yet you are adamant about the stage and the pacing. I know that you created very deliberately the space, as you explained earlier, to kind of force certain pacing on the viewer.
Yes.
Is this how do you feel about this level of control? How is it needed for you? The fact that you want to control certain parameters of the way this is viewed. I know some artists do that. Do you see this as valuable, as something to be respected? And what is the trade-off of that? Let me give you an example from MySpace. So of course, before I put stuff on YouTube, I was like, yeah, I'm going to share just with friends. I'm going to click that, only share with group, and only this way and only that way. And So one extreme is just keep everything in your drawer and not to show it to anyone. Another extreme is just letting it go out there. And what's in my mind now is this famous photograph of Che Guevara that's on the T-shirts all over the world. Right? And so I'm imagining this on a T-shirt, in a stand being produced in millions in some sweatshop. I understand that this is an extreme. You don't want that, but what do you think? What is for you the legitimate? You see English, legitimate level of control of an artist or creator over their creation after it's out there?
Yeah, I don't know. Especially in the framed in legitimacy, because I would say that it needs to adapt to the particular intention, what the artist is trying to do. See what I mean?
I believe so, but the question is this: do you still own it once it's out there? The people have seen it. They can't unsee it. You can't just pull it back. As you said at the very beginning, right? You can't go back with certain techniques. You can only take a fresh page.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. I haven't I haven't started to figure that one out. I think I'm standing on the I'm very discreet with my stuff because I don't know what to do with this. Because right earlier with a question that you asked, I was very ambiguous, and when I thought, it's ambiguous, it's great. I mean, there is all of this leeway of your intention is what's important, and I was very ambiguous about, I don't want to control it at all. After having talked for 20 minutes about what I'm trying to do, and I'm really trying to do something here, so it's not completely free, and I'm not. I have trouble letting go of control. So I think for myself, I want to control it too much, and that's why I don't show it as much as I could. But I don't know as a general rule. But you have to let it become a T-shirt if it's what it. It always kind of becomes that. Yeah. What do you think? Do you have this particular struggle for yourself, or it's not on the radar right now? It's not that important.
Well, I'm not. I'm neither as skilled nor as famous as you are, or gonna be after today. I think, and I think I would close with that. I am very at this point. I'm very conscious of the of different personas this creates. Like you as a creator of the Songbirds, versus you as a creator of more serious, maybe more disturbing work like this. How is that changes the way people perceive you?
Yeah.
I see the same. Like I have my day job. I do something. I have some history. I worked as a teacher. Some people know me from that time. I'm thinking, how does that fit? So I'm scared as a person, as a creator, and at the same time, I am protective when it comes to whatever I put out there. However, it can't measure up to the complexity of the work you are putting out there. So that was my non-answer to your pretty good question, Charles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, the problem of the like being authentic and how we're received and how to modulate the signals that we send and letting go, blah, blah. It's just impossible to manage perfectly. But
for now, I say, and we're at the top of the hour. Let's just be authentic and see what happens. We tried it tonight or today, actually, for you. It's evening for me. It's kind of midday for you. We tried to be authentic, and the tornado didn't show up. We both made it through. And I think both of us and the people who watch this or who will watch it in the future, they will look back at it and they'll say, "Yeah, I'm glad I get the level of skill and the courage to create this and put it out there." So
yes,
let's make our future proud. Hopefully, our future selves are going to give high fives to us now.
Right. That's right. I really enjoyed this collaboration. Had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Me too, Charles. Thank you for this opportunity. We may do it again in the future because that's the way to go, forward. And I want to thank to you and to everybody who was with us in here and who watched this entire thing. Hey, Rafael is asking for a T-shirt now, and and I'll be certainly back with another friend of mine who's got amazing skills because I'm blessed with the opportunity to have quite a few now. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Alex.
Have a lovely day. Bye.
You too. Bye.